I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Project Architect 2. So jumping back into today for some more Project Architect 2, I have some adventure plans. Yes, I do want to travel today to the end, but I also want to get started on the Powah mod a little bit as well. So we're going to be kind of doing both. However, there's going to be a lot of adventure today because we are going to be venturing into a new stronghold. And this stronghold is very elaborate, I should say. Now, warning, if you haven't already done the stronghold, there may be a lot of spoilers in how this is done in today's episode. So I'll warn you again whenever we get to that point if you want to skip those spoilers for yourself. Now, first things first, I do want to get some Powah up and running so we can hopefully get a little bit of wireless charging and kind of get started with that early on. And then we're going to be diving into that. So first things first, this is probably one of the easiest recipes for getting the dielectric paste. And I just need to essentially make a crafting recipe for all of these other components. So all of the individual rods and stuff, they each need their own separate component craft. And this is why I wanted to do Powah after we got auto crafting done. I think Powah can be very tedious to handcraft. And so having auto crafting is definitely, in my opinion, a necessity. And so now, for example, with all those crafts in there, I can hit control, and this will go ahead and request items that we don't already have, and we'll get them prepped up. And now we can easily make our first component to get into this mod, and that's the energizing orb. Now, the only other thing needed is going to be some energizing rods to send the power over to our energizing orb so we can automate the process here for making higher tier versions of this stuff. And of course, I'm going to show you step by step how to actually automate this with applied energistics, and it's actually fairly simple. So let's go ahead and get the basics. I'm just going to make 5 of them for right now, and that should craft very quickly. There it is. There's all 5 of them. And by the way, whenever you do set up the autocraft for these, make sure you have substitutions enabled. So that way later on, if you have some that have power stored in them, it will actually still use them to craft the newer versions, as these do have like this recursive craft that requires the prior tier over and over again. Now I'm just going to pull some power directly out of the ground here. And I'm going to be attaching these rods directly onto the side of the flux duct. You can use a lot of the different power cables. You can use the ones from Mekanism. All kinds of different power cables do work. And you can see right here that they have power stored in them, which is very, very nice. So now that I have those connected, I can actually connect them up here to an energizing orb. So I can place an energizing orb right here, and we can actually get this automated as well. Now, this is also going to be my first dive in this pack into modular routers. And the reason why I like to use this is it makes automation so clean for this particular setup that there's honestly no other reason to do it any other way. So let me go ahead and show you. You're going to need a Cinder MK2, and you're going to need just a regular puller upgrade. You actually don't need anything crazy for that, just a regular puller, and you're going to need a modular router. So what you're going to want to do is underneath your energizing orb, you're going to place your modular router. So just like this. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to pull out of the bottom of the energizing orb our product that is actually finished. And so to do this, we'll take our puller, and I'll say pull from the top right here. Nothing else needs to be changed, just pull from the top. And what it's going to do is it's going to run through whatever modules are in here and loop them. So it's going to utilize this singular buffer slot for that operation. So it's going to pull the item here, and it's going to put it into the buffer. Now we need to tell it where to actually send that item that is now in the buffer. And that is where we are going to run a crafter over here. So I'm going to run a crafter, and this is our like crafting room that's going on here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into a flat version, and this is going to go on top of the energizing orb, which is pretty darn cool. We can actually set this, which is going to be nice, to a locking mode. So we're going to have this until primary crafting result is returned. Do not send another crafting pattern. This is going to actually lock our pattern here, which is going to be super nice because if you send too many items into this, it will allow you to hopper a bunch of items into it. And so you have to make sure it matches the exact amount. There's a couple of ways to lock it with hoppers and stuff like that, but this is honestly the easiest way. Set it to lock crafting and you're good to go. So we're going to run that cable down, and then what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to use this Cinder module, which allows us to do wireless sending, and we're going to shift right click on to the bottom side of this provider. So what that should do is this should allow our modular router to send to the pattern provider here. So I hope. Of course, we still have to test that. And so I'll just put that module in here and we should now be good to go. It says right here, it is AE2 cable and or bus. And so there it is. And then we just close it up. And now we can just put our patterns in here for crafting those items. And the first thing that we want to do is craft gold and iron into energized steel from Powah. And so right here is that recipe. And it does have to be specifically iron. You can't put like 2 stacks of iron and so on in here. It's best to just do it this way. And I think you can also use blocks like that as well. So let's go ahead and actually apply that crafting recipe. And we can do that just within the pattern encoder. And there we go. There's a recipe saved as a processing pattern. And as soon as I put that in here, we should be able to start requesting these items. This is going to be one of the easiest ways to do this. And so let's say I want 10 of them, and let's go ahead and activate that. It should craft. That then gets pulled into the buffer and then sent back into the pattern. And there it is. It is already working. And without any upgrades, it is going to be kind of slow, but it is working, and that's all that matters. And look, it just finished. So now this is going to be super useful. This essentially allows us to upgrade and have Powah fully automated. So now for us to get some wireless power, we're essentially going to need to find a zombie, and we need to right click that zombie with the aerial pearl. And we also need to click an Enderman with the binding card, and that will allow us to have a cross-dimensional binding card. So I just got to find a zombie and an Enderman. And so right here is a Enderman. Boop. And there we go. That is now linked. And then I can right click that to bind it to myself. And then I still am looking for a zombie. And voila, I found a zombie. And so that gets captured into the player aerial pearl. And this we need to take back to the research lab and put this into practice. So now that I'm back at the research lab, by putting that aerial pearl in here, I should be able to request now a hardened version of the player transmitter. And this is going to allow us to send to myself 10,000 FE per tick at maximum. So to get this linked in, all I have to do is place this down, connect it up to power. This is going to start storing some power, and then place the binding card in here. And now my player should start to receive power. Now, this is just one of many ways that I could charge myself. You could also use Flux Networks, but this research is going to help me also generate power down the road, as Powah has to be one of the most powerful ways to produce a early sustainable form of power. And that also includes upgrading our lava research facility over here. Now, before we go after the dragon, we're actually going to need to craft ourselves a knife, and this is going to be a pretty important part of a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing here soon. This knife, we also probably want to enchant with some looting and also put some damage modifiers on here if at all possible. So look, our looty boy coming back to play over here, and we should easily be able to get ourselves some books. I think I put them all over here, didn't I? There we go. We got our books, and buying a looting book is super simple. So I think, yeah, if you can, definitely put some looting and sharpness on this thing. I don't know if it's going to help all that much with the 2 damage that it deals, but we're actually going to need to take out bosses with the diamond knife. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of, sculpting or scalping of those, mobs to do a little bit more research. We gotta be able to dabble a little bit more into ultimately being able to clone these mobs, so that way we can, grind them up. I mean, don't worry about that just yet. We'll get into that eventually. But for right now, definitely need to know that diamond knife is important and is going to be needed for a lot of the boss kills, and not only just boss kills, but also taking out several of the mobs that are required for a lot of the food products that we're going to need. Now, before we head off on our journey, there is still one more thing I need to do. I need to claim some quest rewards, and these quest rewards are actually really good, and we don't get a whole lot of these higher tier epic rewards. These could offer us anything between antimatter to some really awesome, like a transmutation interface that is like some really high level stuff. So let's hope we get super lucky, and we get 2 chances of that. Oh, I got a diamond horse armor. Oh, that's a hard hit. And let's see, we get lucky on this one, and I got diamonds on that. Oh, so these, like I said, could offer some insane rewards. There is the possibility. but it's like a 3% chance to get all of those rewards. So yeah, the chances of getting that, not super high. You could even get yourself, for example, like an infinite storage disk. There's all kinds of cool things that you can get from that. Let me know down in the comments below. Did you get lucky on that roll? Did you end up getting access, for example, to like a transmutation interface or anything like that? Because if you did, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. I've already seen several people post on the Discord some of the cool things they've gotten from their rewards, and that's kind of what makes the replayability of this so nice, is because sometimes you can get super lucky and sometimes you can get unlucky like me. So I guess now after that, it's time for us to go on a little bit of an adventure and hopefully gain access to the end and potentially take on the dragon as well, which should be very, very easy for our at least our first dragon takedown. Now, of course, the tried and true method to get there is to just use an eye vendor. That's going to take us there, but we can use the Explorer's Compass and search Stronghold and make sure we use the integrated Stronghold one. And this is going to also direct us there. A little bit more effective with the modded version instead of just, you know, going about it the vanilla way. Now, I believe I have found it right about here. My compass kind of turns, which means that it is definitely somewhere down here. And I would assume that also the eye vendor would also point me directly down here as well. Now, yet again, I will highly recommend using night vision. So yes, my helmet, very nice for that I made last episode. The gym helmet, I can hit Shift and X and turn on night vision. Ooh, I can definitely tell there's something lurking down here. So I guess the only thing that we can do is just dig down, right where we would expect that change to happen, and hope that we actually mine into the structure somewhat. Ooh, and I just got a message saying I spy, and I just hit some materials at Y level -47. That is so far down. Okay, so after that, it looks like we might be very close. Aha. To getting in here, and which we are. There we go. So this place, if I turn off night vision, is very spooky and not your typical stronghold. Not at all. Oh, this chamber is glorious. It is absolutely glorious. With functioning create and everything. I'm going to be toggling this on and off because it's just honestly so good looking. Please tell me there's not shriekers in here. Oh no. It looks like ours is infested with shriekers and things like that. But we essentially should be able to explore this. Now, in my quest, I should now have access to a new book called the Stronghold Riddle. And yes, spoilers, spoiler warning, I will be spoiling how to actually find the end portal. Because it is kind of hidden in here. So you have to do quite a bit of exploring in order to actually find it, or you can utilize my riddle. So just heads up. So it says, in ancient halls of stone and might, a secret lies beyond your sight. Where walls are strong and shadows play, an elevator hides the way. Search the place where floors descend for hidden doors that twist and bend. A shaft concealed in shadows deep where secrets and adventures sleep. Brave the traps and winding maze with wits and courage to amaze. For those who navigate this path, the end portal shall end your wrath. Begin your quest in halls so old. Seek the lift that's secrets, or that's silent cold. Find the door to secret ways, to the end where dragons blaze. This is very important in helping kind of decipher where this is at. So like I said, if after this point, there will be spoilers on how to locate this and where it's actually at. And outside of that, this whole place is amazing to just loot, and you'll find tons of create materials that you won't actually need to craft. For example, these are blaze burners, right? So you're going to find so much create stuff in here. It is 100% worth coming back and looting this place for not only create building materials, but just create materials in general. So definitely filled to the brim with all of those things. Now, let's actually decipher this. So I did bold these, and it says elevator, secrets, maze, in, lift, door. So interesting that those words are highlighted. And the whole idea around this was to kind of create a message that kind of helps lead people to where it's located instead of just, you know, destroying this entire place. Believe it or not, there's actually some lore built into this place, and you can find those lore books inside of chests, and there's tons of them. And there's also tons of mob spawners in here, which we'll probably want to grab later on. So I definitely want to get a waystone in this bad boy, as this will be a healthy, and I mean healthy, supply. Oh boy, let's clear all that out. And we'll call this Stronghold. Perfect. So we can always come back here and grab some of these spawners. Now, just to kind of quickly show some of this stuff, because I have explored this in prior videos, prior series, there's a lot of cool places here. Oh, these guys you're going to want to watch out for. The Forgotten are honestly horrifying in this, if you're not wearing gear like I'm wearing. But look what's on display here. Yes, that is an Ars Nouveau spellbook. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's Ars. So I strongly recommend looting this place. There's a source link. There's so many things I'm going to come back to and grab from this place for sure, especially these source links. There's also another side over here, which is Nether. There's a whole cooking section, which has tons of resources for cooking. Highly recommend definitely looting this place and not destroying it. It is amazing. I would also love to see, like, if somebody's used this as a base, because there's some pretty darn cool things that you can do. Now, I remember my first time exploring this, I walked up to this and I was like, oh, the portal's got to be in here. It's got to be in here, right? It's actually not in here. So let's go back to the room that we actually dropped down into, and let's take a look at what we need to do there. Let's close the door real quick so the mobs don't follow us in. But this right here is actually an elevator, and it's a functioning elevator. It says up or down. So if I hit this button, we should hopefully start seeing an elevator slowly but surely descending. And the whole sort of message around this, right, was to keep an eyes peeled while you're inside this elevator. Now, another quick note, inside of this room, there's a lectern here with a journal. It says, if you seek the portal to the close, look in the place that lifts you down into the earth. The entrance waits for you. So yet again, another hint in here in relation to where this portal actually lies. So there's a lot of lore in here, and our elevator has arrived. So we should now be able to push the button and say goodbye to these guys as we work our way up here. Definitely worth, like I said, keeping an eye out on this as we work our way up. Like right here, this is a barrel. There's a barrel here, has ender pearls and disc fragments from the integrated Stronghold mod. Very cool. I wonder if there's like a secret sort of message associated with that. And there's also something here. What does that say? Do not enter with a lever. I wonder what that's all about. Maybe that is that secret entrance that everything was referencing. So yes, of course, that is the way in to the maze, which we're going to be diving into here in just a second. But I just wanted to show how cool this is to actually go up and down on an elevator, take a ride like that, and then also find and locate those structures. And there's just so much to explore. There's rooms, there's mobs, there's so much. I just want to come back. For right now, my main goal is, though, getting to that dimension, getting to the end, and trying this dragon out, and getting access to all of the good things that come from accessing the end. So let's go ahead and hop back in here, and then we need to locate that door, and let's try out that do not enter door. Oh boy, it says do not enter, but I'm definitely going to be entering it. I think it was right here, right? Right here. So let's get off. We'll pull the lever, because nothing bad has ever happened from pulling a lever, right? And now, ooh, now we have an adventure here. Look at that. Oh, traps. All kinds of stuff. So yes, pretty interesting little maze. And I am going to, of course, just cheese it. Look at all this stuff. We got an Enderman head from supplementaries. Growth. Okay, I'm going to leave all that stuff. I don't really need it right now. But yes, just flying around this. Look at all these spawners that we can come back and take. And this says exit. Is this actually the exit? Oh, it is. It is very much the exit. This is what leads us into the end portal. I'm going to stare into the eye, and then I'm going to click the button, and this is so cool. The portal is now opened. That is so wicked. I love this integrated mod. It's so cool. But we are going to have to deal with Forgotten here, and they have some very powerful weaponry. So I definitely recommend lighting this up. Let's grab a torch. And we should be able to light these up. And make sure these guys do not continue to spawn, hopefully. Now, let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Oh, with night vision off. This is just glorious looking. This whole place is so neat. Uh-oh. We spawned again. All right, so here's our portal. And of course, Eyes of Ender, our typical way of going about this. Let's go ahead and light this portal with our eyes. The standard way. And now before I go in here, I do want to mention real quick, do not go to the end without some sort of flight or some sort of glider. You are going to regret doing that, because this is not your typical journey into the end. No, no, no. No, it is going to be a little bit different than what you're maybe used to. So just bear in mind that things are potentially going to be harder than normal. And that's because you don't actually spawn on the island when you go in. All right, so 3, 2, 1, let's go. And I'm super nervous because there's the quest, where's the dragon? And we hear a bell. But we're not actually on the island anywhere. We're not at all on the island. So a little bit scarier now that we spawn here and we don't actually spawn where the dragon resides. And we also have guys like this who will potentially try to take us out. This is a very interesting life form that we probably want to study eventually. I'll just take it out for right now. But we need to kind of follow the bell and find out where this noise is coming from. And according to the quest, ooh, we have another chance on this epic grab bag. Oh, we got dark matter. That's not too bad, but still, ooh, that could have been better. Now, where's the dragon? It says it doesn't spawn, but we need to travel to the center of the end, and that is at Y level 0, 0. And hear the bell ring. So that means we need to find out where that is. It looks like we're already on that axis here, but we need to go in this direction until we get there. And I think for right now, I'm probably going to fly down to the ground. You can actually get your elytra already. Ooh, there was a Leviathan. You can actually get your elytra already if you really wanted to. Ooh, I'm going to place, I think right here's a good spot. I'm going to place down a waystone. And hopefully, we should be able to get here. This is going to be like the regular end. Not the end island. So I guess end islands. That way we just have a marker ready to go and travel back. But I got to keep flying in this direction about 1,000 blocks. And so this is why it's definitely worth having some flight. Now you'll definitely be able to tell when you get close. You'll see the island. You should see everything forming as normal. And this is one epic boss battle introduction. Yes, you actually have to seek out this boss battle, but I will say this boss battle is probably going to end pretty quickly. I could instantly one-shot the dragon also without even taking these out, which is something to note. But we just need to walk up here. And we need to walk up into that ringing bell. And as soon as we do, let the dragon fight commence. Oh boy. All of the structures blowing up. Oh, here it goes. Oh, it's so satisfying watching this happen. And last but not least, let the dragon spawn. Something that you definitely want to do if you can on your first dragon takedown, is to definitely take out all of these pillars and try not to insta-kill the dragon. I know that it's so easy and tempting to do, but you don't probably want to do that. What you want to do is you want to get it low, its health low, and then kill it with the knife. So that way you're guaranteed potentially drops that you're going to need for some of these final endeavors. And yes, I can just walk up here and punch these. This makes this dragon fight pretty simple, but believe me, this is her dragon fight. And his dragon fight is a lot scarier, I will say. This is your mini boss to what eventually will be the ultimate boss of the mod pack. So now with all of these down, I definitely want to start getting the dragon down, if at all possible. The dragon will land up here. So you can actually stand up here. There you go. And the dragon will land. And I need to get the dragon down to pretty low, if at all possible. Like taking down, just completely hitting this guy. I didn't bring a bow or anything, but that would have been actually a lot better. The dragon's coming in for a landing again. I just want to get it down pretty low and then start using the knife. And I don't think there's nothing more dirty than taking on the dragon and killing it with a knife. And in doing so, we get ourselves some dragon legs, dragon teeth, we get some dragon meat. All of those things you have to get with a knife. You will not get it any other way. And then we also need to kind of look for the dragon egg. There should be a dragon egg somewhere that spawned. Ah, there's the dragon egg right there. I think the best way to get this is actually with a piston. Whenever it spawns like this. So we can actually yoink it. We also got ourselves some draconium dust, which is so nice, so much EMC. But yes, we, let's see, let's grab another block. Like any kind of block, and then a button. Or a lever. Lever will work. And make sure our magnet is on. I'm going to place that there, place a piston, and then give this a redstone signal. That should pop off. And there we go, making sure it doesn't accidentally drop down into the portal. Oh, very nice. So now we have a dragon egg, and this is also EMCable and has quite a bit of EMC as well. So we have ourselves a dragon tooth, we have our dragon leg, and all of that is actually going to be needed in this section to make that dragon leg with sauce. Something else you may be noticing, these Endermen, there are some chunky Endermen, but don't worry, these are all just regular Endermen. They don't do anything kind of crazy like that. You can still farm them the normal way. This is just like a reskin for them. So this guy 100% missed leg day. I will say that. I'm sorry, man. You need to quit skipping leg day. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay down a waystone. Now that we got that done, I think things are starting to look up. Now, there's a lot of cool things that we can find in the end. One is being EMC. There's also a bunch of different things that are new to us. For example, the Enlightened mod. There's these things that have EMC. There's a lot more EMC gaining possibilities that can happen in this dimension. So something to keep an eye out on. For example, the dust, like, it's 49,000 EMC. So as soon as you get here, you're gonna be looking pretty good, so long as you got some fortune and or potentially get a miner out in this world. Now, I guess along with all of that, let's go ahead and see if we can't find ourselves an in-city as well. Shouldn't be too difficult, by the way. You also want to grab these blocks that are floating about. They are going to be so nice to have later on. And later on, you can definitely use a quarry on them to be able to pick them all up. these are actually used to modify spawners to increase the spawn count. Now, this is going to be one of the most interesting researches we've done so far. This dimension is just teeming with some really interesting life. Oh my gosh. Like what? Like sinkers? Oh my goodness. And these drop some teeth? These guys are so awful. There's also ooze here. Thankfully, I can walk on ooze, by the way, because of our helmet and our chest piece. But I wonder what happens if you fall into this. Oh, no. I have Ender Stride. Oh, it's teleporting me around. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm bouncing all over the place. Those blocks look so cool. Now, I definitely need to grab some of these chorus flowers. And then there's this thing right here that has doors. Oh, interesting. And there's like different levels? There's got to be some good loot in this as well. Like the loot alone has got to be great. Look at that sharpness. Okay. Vorpal 3 and mending and gems. I will always take gems. Ooh, but these guys are spawning. Is there anything else down here? Like there's more to these levels here? Ooh, there's some bone. Yes. Okay. So there's actually good stuff. There we go. Ooh, we got a Wixie token out of that. Ah, that right there. Okay, so we just found an epic piece of gear that we can break down, be able to make our own gear even better. Yes, this does have the loot. I'm going to take that. Look at that. We actually got... Oh man, that's so good. Ars Nouveau stuff, without having to do a lot of the grind for Ars, is always welcome. Now, remember last episode? Oh, it's so nice that we have a Quantum Entangled Singularity with that bridge card, allowing me to just store my items directly into my Applied Energetics system. Oh man, even from the end. What are these little... Are these jellyfish? They're gloops. Little gloops. You can't actually damage... Oh, yeah, you can. Oh! I've been glooped! No, don't gloop me! Oh no, I love these little mods. There's also a lot of decoration materials that I want to grab from here, outside of what, of course, I've already been grabbing. These are definitely worth grabbing for those decoration blocks. Okay, so let's get serious and actually find ourselves an End City. And it looks like it did find one. And it scanned over 3,000 blocks out to find it. So it could be far away, but also could be near. Oh man, there's just so much to explore. Ooh! Oh, that's something we also need to watch out for. So this boss just spawned, and this is actually a crazy good way to farm these. So notice that little endermite is going wild. We can actually one-shot it with this guitar, and that will drop this gear. Now, notice this gear is a top tier apotheosis piece of gear. Not only with its enchants, but we can take this and scrap it. Oh, and we can get those raw materials, those Godforged pearls, and we can use them for ourselves later on. Oh, and look what I just found in the sky. This is from Draconic Evolution, and this whole thing is filled to the brim with draconium ore, and it's a great way to actually farm up some EMC. Oh man, super, super good. Do not forget that the inside of this thing also has ore in it. Oh, it's so great. A stack of draconium dust holds 1.4 million EMC in it. Now, I definitely want these from Quark, these Mylite crystals. These would look really great in the research facility. You know what? And same with buckets of ooze. Oh my gosh, and I can't forget to mention this. This place is so cute. This is like a little bouncy area. All these blocks have bounce to them. Oh, this is too much. There's too much. There's little bouncer nuts as well that you can find. Oh, yeah, there's too much to do here. Yeah, not to mention the End Phantasm areas. Like, what are these? Oh! It's a behemoth. Oh no. They were sleeping like a little Snorlax over there. Aha, and here it is. But it's not a big one. This is actually a fairly small one. And this one doesn't even have a ship attached to it, unfortunately. But honestly, it's all about getting shulker shells and getting shulker materials that I kind of want right now. But we've also unlocked the End City, and that we just need to find an elytra, I think. That also grants us another chance at another reward. Not as high of a tier, but look at that. A diamond block right in the center. Now, these guys, you definitely want to take out with a knife as well. When you do that, you get yourself some skulk mollusks. Definitely worth grabbing those as well. And I probably want to I probably want to mob swap these guys later on so I can make spawn eggs for them. Ooh, here we go. Here's the loot. So there's usually some good loot in here. I'll take that stasis, actually. Same for this one. Oh, yeah, we got some tokens, some Starbuckle tokens. Piece of helmet. We have a lot of this stuff already. Ooh, an Ender staff. That's actually kind of nice. And we also got some of those berries. Anything else good in here? Maybe there's more up top. Oh yeah, there's so many more. There we go, source gems. That's perfect. We had a music disc as well that we didn't already have. And all of this stuff is definitely worth grabbing. Source berries. Ooh, there's a better knife, right? So if you didn't bring one, I guess you can get one here. Mending. I mean, the main thing, this is a biome. This is an ocean dimlet. Probably one of the worst dimlets you can find. Ah, here we go. This is a rocket. It says to the moon. Cast. Okay. Oh! Oh! That's actually kind of interesting. It casts the block up and then hits it with TNT and like breaks the block? Is that what I just seen there? Oh, this has alchemy collection in it. That could be very useful. Yeah, I'm just taking all of this. And also, not to mention, these are all shulker boxes that are just casually in the walls here. And after a little bit more searching, there's the ship. This has got to be the smallest in-city I have ever seen, though. What has happened here? It's so ornate, though. Like, these are so pretty. Like, you could build your base here. But this is what I'm after. So, we almost have the whole first quest line done. But down here is where it all matters. We've just got to head down into the ship and grab our elytra. And voila, we're ready to go. And also grab a bit more of the loot that we may find here. I'm always down to grab gems because these are super helpful for tools later on down the road. There we go. And also some gems there. Ooh, and yep, there's another gem right there too. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And of course, I can't forget to grab the dragon head, which is another very important thing that we are going to also need. So I will take this right off the pedestal, and we should be able to now get that stored away. So now I think that has been one heck of a journey today. Wow. I mean, that was absolutely insane, and there's still so much more left to explore in the Stronghold and many other useful things that are all around. Like, there was an Ars book. We're definitely going to get our start with that. It is actually required in a lot of this stuff. So, for example, we're going to have to progress and through the Archmage spellbook, which is honestly not too difficult to do. But we are very close now here. We have ourselves a dragon egg. We have the ability to make a Bane. We also can make ourselves a Draconic core once we dive a little bit more into Draconic Evolution. We got a little bit more into Powah today. However, we still have to get a little bit more into Apotheosis to get the infused dragon's breath, but we also got the head and making the eternal, this is honestly pretty simple to do as well. And we got, I think, all of the ingredients required to make the dragon leg sauce. Yeah, we just need tomatoes, we need some chorus, we got that, and we also got the dragon leg, which we just have to smoke. So with that, all of that data from the end ended up getting sent back to our research facility and is now being stored, and all of the information is now being processed. And with that, that is going to be the end of today's episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you learned something new. There's about how to navigate that new stronghold, or learning about Powah and how to automate it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, so be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you don't miss a future episode just like this one. And of course, guys, with that, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Dip the Panda. Thank you so much for your amazing support, especially over the years. Absolutely amazing. I want to say thank you again. And of course, guys, thank you for watching. And Be sure to click that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Check me out on Twitch. I do live stream 3 to 4 days a week, so you can of course find me or follow me over there, and join the Discord. Discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. We have an amazing community over there, and I would love to have you if you haven't already joined too many Discords, that is. Well, with that, of course, I'll see you in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye!